Hello, my name is Tamara, and I am on the path to a healthier lifestyle. And I am on the path to being ruthless with myself, changing some habits for myself, and creating the life that will make me happy and healthy and strong. And I'm so excited to be making this update. And I just want to go on a little background for my life and how I got here, because I know that as you change and you start hitting your goals, you forget some things along the way when you look back. So I'm kind of making this like a little journal in a way so that I can look back once I've hit my goal and say like, wow, I've been there, I've done that, and I'm in a better place for it now. So a little bit of background on my story. I have been an athlete all my life, my childhood, I should say. Even from high school, I did multiple things in high school. I was in band, I was in cheer, that was the mascot, if that counts. I did softball from, I don't know, I want to say like 9 or 10 on up, and then I went and did college softball. And I've always been very active. I've always been very muscly, and I never had to work at eating right, really, or working out because it was just a part of my life. And then very quickly after college, I got married and had two beautiful children, and very quickly started to gain weight. So, of course, in pregnancy, you gain weight. With my son, I gained, I want to say like 70 to 80 pounds. And then he's 4 now. And then we had our daughter, and I actually lost 70 to 80 pounds in that pregnancy because I was deathly ill. That's a little bit dramatic, but I did have like hypertension, and I had horrible morning sickness, and I was actually at a lower weight after I gave birth to her than I was when I met my husband. And so that's just how much I went through with that pregnancy. And it didn't last long. So right after I gave birth, I was at my lowest weight from my adulthood without any athleticism or any working out or anything. So I got down really low, but very quickly, like very, very, very quickly, I gained weight, and it never stopped. So I got help for it. I want to say when my daughter was like 6 or 7 months old, so 6 or 7 months postpartum, I went to a doctor. I said, hey, I'm not feeling well. I'm having some symptoms that are very uncomfortable and something I've never dealt with in my life, and I'm really going through it and depressed, and I need help, and I'm gaining weight so fast. And I broke down the numbers of like, here I was 6 or 7 months ago, and at that point I had already gained like 50 of it back, and it was so rapid. And she looked at me and said, if you lose weight, all your problems will go away. And she didn't give me help for depression. She didn't give me help for any of the hormonal issues that I was having, any of my weight gain, nothing. And that was really hard for me. So I remember just going back and sitting in my car and thinking, I have two choices right now. I can just keep going for my kids and my husband and myself, or I cannot keep going. And I never would leave my kids or my husband or the people that I love behind, so I decided to keep going. And I kind of sulked in that answer that the doctor gave me, or lack of answer and lack of empathy of the doctor, which I really wish that she would get her practice taken away from her for giving people that answer, because if I could have been anybody else but who I am, that could have been someone's reason to exit the world. And luckily, being who I am, that wasn't my answer. So going through that testimony, about a month, 2 months ago, I was at my biggest weight ever that I've ever seen on the scale, and I was uncomfortable. I was severely depressed and trying to get out of the depression by myself. I was uncomfortable all the time. I was having horrible like hormone issues, which was making me feel worse. And I went and I found a doctor. Well, about in February of 2024, I called a doctor because several people gave me good reviews on her, and I had to wait for 4 months to get in to see her. And at first I was like, oh, I can't wait that long. Oh my gosh, it's gonna take way too long. What am I gonna do? And I thought about it, and I was like, okay, if she really is that good of a doctor, it's worth the wait. I can wait. And so when I went in, I happen to have the worst sunburn I've ever had in my life. And looking back, I now know it was second and third degree burns on my chest and on my shins. And this is relevant because when the first thing that the doctor said when my appointment came, it was like May 30th, I think. She said, oh my gosh, your burns are horrible. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. She was in and out of my room within 3 minutes, 4 minutes tops. From the time she came in It was a woman's wellness exam. She did the pap smear. She left like within 3 to 4 minutes, very tops. Like all she talked about was my sunburn, how she was gonna get, I think it was called Silvadine or something like that to help with scarring, which you can't see it now, but it's really bad right here. I have scarring because of it. And I left and just sat in my car and cried because all the questions that I had in my notes app that I did the night before so that I wouldn't forget to ask her, I didn't even get the chance to ask her. And I was so upset and I felt so unseen and so unheard by her. I just cried. I didn't know what else to do. I was upset. I was hurt. I felt overlooked and disappointed because I waited 4 months to get in to see this lady, and my expectations were through the roof. And when she came in, barely looked at me, like she did a double take when she saw the sunburn. She didn't address any of my hormone issues, my weight issues. I had another issue. I wanted to be tested for PCOS. I wanted all these things from her, and I didn't even get the chance to say anything. And I'm smiling now so I don't cry because I remember how hurt and sad and unseen I felt. And so I sat in that bitterness and that resentment and that disappointment for a few days. And I got an email and it said, tell us how your experience went with Dr. Blank. And so I clicked on the link and it took me to a patient portal. And I said, okay, this is my opportunity. I'm going to say something because I didn't get the care that I deserve in that moment, or I didn't get the time that I felt that I deserved in that moment. And so I messaged back on the portal and I said, I am a little bit disappointed in our visit, and I can put it on the screen and show you what I said, but it was pretty much just the gist of, I'm a little bit disappointed in how our visit went. I had a few other things to talk to you about, and I know that we were talking about my sunburn, but I had other things that I felt were more important, and I know that you're very busy, but XYZ, this is what I was here for. And she was so kind. She called me back later that afternoon and she said, I am not someone who treats my patients this way. That is not me. I give better care than that. I was just so shocked by your sunburn. And so she kind of went and pacified me for a minute. And she said, I care about my patients so much. So come back in today before 3:00, which was a Friday by the time I got around to calling her again, for her calling me back after I messaged her on the portal. And she said, come back in, get the blood work done, and we'll get you taken care of. We're going to do a full PCOS blood panel. We're going to do an insulin diabetic blood panel. I can put them on the screen too. And it came back the next day on a Saturday. Of course, she didn't call me then, but I got the results in my patient portal and it was lit up like a Christmas tree. There was like red all over my blood work. And so I knew something was wrong, but I'm not a doctor, so I didn't know what any of it meant. So I waited for her to call me back. And I think it was like Tuesday or Wednesday of the next week when she was like, girl, you definitely have PCOS and your insulin is through the roof. I do not know how your diabetic panel did not come back with diabetes or pre-diabetes. So what we need to do now is we're going to put you on PCOS medicine. And then we're going to, are you wanting to have kids, more kids? And I said, well, I'm not wanting to have kids. Like, I don't know if I'm done yet. I don't want to close that factory. So she said, for right now, do you want to have kids? And I was like, no, I want to get my health under control. I want to feel better and I want to lose weight. And she said, okay, so we're going to manage your symptoms for now. We're going to put you on birth control and she was going to put me on, I think it was called metformin or something like that for the PCOS, but she put me on a different medication because it was 100% covered by my insurance. And it was also help manage my symptoms, which was what my goal would be. And then she said, we need to get the weight off of you as soon as possible because of how high my insulin was. She said, you're not diabetic now. Your numbers aren't showing that. But one, I know why you feel like crap. And two, we don't know when it would turn into diabetes or a health issue that could be worse. So I was like, okay, let's do it, whatever it is. So she's recommended Tirzepatide and the lowest dose of that. And that's what we started. So all of that background got me to where I am today. And it was a lot of pain and resentment and hurt with doctors before her, but I'm so grateful for her and that she listened. So I'm just going to take a moment before I get into the Tirzepatide and my results. If you know that something's going on with you and you know in your heart that something is going on, say something. Bring it back up to the doctor. If you don't feel heard by them, say something to them. Bring it back up to them and say, hey, I don't feel like the care that you gave me was enough. I have questions. If they don't do what they should with that information, go to another doctor because you shouldn't even trust them with your care in the first place. And I'm so happy that I stuck up for myself and that I was my biggest advocate. And that would be my biggest message. Whatever you believe in, go and get help. If that doctor won't listen to you or hear you or be the bigger person and come sit down with you and talk with you about XYZ of your concerns, go to someone else and they will help you. They will want to help you. and you'll get the help, because I had sat in so much hurt and bitterness and pity for so long. I'm kind of kicking myself because it's only been like a week and a half since I've been on the Tirzepatide, and since I've gotten the other medication that I need for my PCOS to manage the symptoms, that I'm like, if I could feel this good a long time ago, I would. And imagine where I would be now if back then I wouldn't have taken no for an answer, or if I wouldn't have taken you're fine for an answer, or if I wouldn't have taken it's because you're fat for an answer. So I know that was very long-winded, but it's important for me to give out all the details. And so I want to give up my update for my Tirzepatide injection week 1. So when I first got on the medication, when I first got on my birth control, and I think it's called spironolactone for the PCOS, I lost 10 pounds, like bam, so quick in a week. I don't know if it was water weight, I don't know what it was. I'm just gonna say it was weight, but I lost 10 pounds, and I'm super excited because just that alone made me feel better. And then I went, and my Tirzepatide injection was ready at the pharmacy, and I picked that up, and I've lost 5 pounds in the first week of my Tirzepatide injection. And so I will take that as a win. So I am down 15 pounds my first week, but really only 5 of it was the week of the Tirzepatide, because the week and a half before that was the 10 pounds. So in total, I'm down 15 pounds, and I'm so excited about it. And I got on the scale this morning for my week 2, and I'm already really excited to see what this week's numbers are. What I'm prioritizing while I'm on this medicine is water. Water. Like, I'm a hydrated girl, okay? And last week, towards the end of the week, there was one day where I was out with family and not drinking enough water. And can I tell you, don't do that to yourself. If you're on this medicine, don't do that to yourself. Take a water bottle. It's prioritize being hydrated, because there was a day where I needed to go to the bathroom and I just knew it wasn't gonna go as well as I wanted it to. And so drink water, and I've been having buttloads of protein. Every meal, even if I'm not hungry, I'll try to get like a boiled egg or fish or chicken. Those are really the only 2 proteins that I really like right now, because they're lighter than like beef, but no real side effects that I can say. It's hard for me because I started 3 different medications all at once: the birth control, the spironolactone, I don't know how to say that, and the Tirzepatide. And so the only side effect that I can really say that I have, but I can't pinpoint which one it's from because of my hormones and everything, is lightheadedness and nausea, like horrible nausea. But I will say, before I started any of these medications, I had hormone issues that were causing me the nausea. So take that with what you will. And I will upload a video next week, and I'm so excited because I peeked at the scale this morning for this week, week 2, but I'm not going to share that yet. So I'm excited to see what this journey is all about, and if you want to come along with me, that'd be great. I will be posting weekly now. I may even post a video in the middle of the week of what I'm eating. It just depends on what I'm feeling like and what I want to document, because I think it would be really fun to have kind of a video journal of my journey, and so I can look back and know, like, look at her, like, she did this. And this time is different because I have the support of a doctor. I've never had that before. And then I also have the capability to stand up for myself and know what's right, and the discipline to follow through with it. If one doctor doesn't hear you, go to another one, because somebody will help you and find the answers in the blood work. Because I can't tell you how many times I have went to get my diabetic blood panel done, and my A1C and the other whatever, I don't even remember what all the ones for the diabetic panel they run, those all came back within normal range. All the time they would say they came back within normal range. It wasn't until I found this doctor, which is technically an OBGYN, to do a PCOS panel, and I guess that's just what she says for a certain group of blood work, which I can post it all for you so you can ask for it, maybe get your diagnosis and your help from it. But if I wouldn't have gone that one other time, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And yeah, 15 pounds doesn't sound like much, but when you're someone that can only lose 5 to 7 pounds on your own, because of hormones and other things going on in your body, it's a big deal, and I'm on the right track, and you could be too. So excited to start this journey, and put yourself first. You're your biggest advocate, and you're the only one that can make you happy. I'll see you next week.